Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of our Lion Fight Zoom chats. We are getting very close now to Lion Fight 66 coming up on Friday, May 21st on UFC Fight Pass. Don't forget special start time of 7:30 Eastern time. That's Eastern USA. And we'll have all the start times, of course, for you on our social media and website. Joined, of course, by Justin Kwan at the controls, Nathan Corbett, our expert analyst, and live from Big Sky Country. It is in Montana. In case you didn't know, it's Montana, USA, Big Sky Country. It's Lion Fight CEO Scott Kent. Scott, thanks so much for joining us. Wanted to start off with, we're closing in on the end of the first quarter of 2021 and the first season on UFC Fight Pass. Give us your thoughts on sort of the way the first few months have gone for Lion Fight and for Lion Fight on UFC Fight Pass.
Well, strategically, we were dealt kind of an odd hand like everybody else was with COVID. So we ended up, and, you've been a part of that, trying to find some areas where we're able to do fights with our multi-fight agreement with UFC Fight Pass. It was an opportunity for us to venture more into the Midwest than we've ever done before. We did the show in Wyoming, which went very well. And we've done 2 shows in Kansas. We're doing our 3rd here, May 21st. And I think it opened up the Midwest to world-class Muay Thai, which is kind of what we had hoped it would do. So that these are areas, if we decide we want to go back to at some point, we now have a built-in audience.
Let's get your thoughts really quick before we turn things over to Nathan too. I wanted to ask you from, say, the first 3 fight cards, maybe pick a couple or 3 fighters that you go, yeah, this has been a good start to 2021 for them.
Well, Steve Walker has to top any list. He's in the running now for the knockout of the year. He's going to be featured in the main event here on May 21st. The heavyweights. I think both of those fights, Joe Stripling fight, Warren Thompson's fight, were epic heavyweight fights because they were guys that are big fellas, but they had the cardio. They both just fought like lightweights. And I thought it was amazing for the promotion, for us to be able to show that American Muay Thai at those heavier weight divisions now have some entrance, I think, into that discussion of who are some of the best heavyweights in the world.
All right, Nathan, take it away.
Yeah, no, I was second on that, Scott. Of course, that heavyweight tournament was amazing. Exactly what we needed for just for the excitement of Lion Fight going forward, of course, with our heavyweights in the future. My question is, of course, as an analyst, where I'm always looking at the fights and talking about what's happening, what they're doing, maybe what they could be doing, what they're doing well, or maybe what they're not doing so well at the time. What is it that you're looking for as the CEO of Lion Fight with over, this 66 shows, so 65 shows over 10 years in the business? What is it that you're looking for from the fighters, especially, what do you want from them, of course, as the CEO?
Well, I think what we had always hoped for, and one of the reasons we hesitated on bringing in heavyweights for so many years, was heavyweights that can compete at that level. You see a guy like Joe Stripling, and how athletic this guy is, and once he gets into the ring, he's a whole different person. Steve Walker's a specimen. He's an amazing athlete. So you have these guys that are big, but they're also guys that maybe even are deceptive to some point with their cardio and their Muay Thai ability. I've seen, I saw your seminar. I was watching the reviews on that. And now Joe Stripling, he's doing some seminars, guys like that have the confidence that maybe they didn't have, before the first part of this year. And as seeing these guys with their kicks, Warren Thompson, he was kind of, we really didn't know what we had going into that thing. The guy fought like a warrior, and fighting Cody East, who's a hell of a fighter. I think it showed us that the quality of the Muay Thai is getting there. For the big boys. I know you love the elbows, and I think you're starting to see, even in the last fight with Big Kansas with his knees, just cave the guy's head in. with his knee and with his elbow. So we're seeing those kinds of exchanges that maybe we wouldn't have seen before, and I think that's really good for the long-term prospect of heavyweights in lion fight.
Yeah, I know you and I have often spoke about, obviously we wanting more knockouts on lion fight. Some shows that we have shows where the fights have gone the distance, and you're always looking for KOs. Being a promotion, obviously on UFC Fight Pass, but obviously being, viewed by a lot more Westerners, knockouts is what we're looking for, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we see that, whether you follow boxing, whatever it is, I think Americans have always followed heavyweights, certainly with boxing. And I know in MMA, it's you get kind of a mixed bag. But I think with Muay Thai, our American audiences always love seeing the big boys, and being able to have guys which are not only great fighters, but, good ambassadors for the sport as well. They love what they do. They're very passionate about it. And I think it's good for the long-term growth of our brand.
Excellent. So more KOs on line fights come.
That's my prediction. As I sit here under the big sky in Montana, we're hoping for more KOs.
And Scott, I wanted to follow up on that with, you've always been a huge proponent of female fights, and we've seen some pretty interesting female fights already this year. Three, I think, pretty impressive wins. Natalie Morgan with a win in Wyoming, Andy Wynn with a win in Kansas when she kind of had a real grudge match against Crystal Van Wyck, and then Taylor McClatchy winning a North American title last time out. Just your thoughts on where the North American women's game is at.
Well, if it's any indication, we're getting so many applicants now from Europe and the rest of the world, females now, that see how big female Muay Thai is becoming and how important it is at lion fight. I think the secret to Andy Wynn is we need to make sure opponents make her mad before the fight. She was a whole different fighter. I know Fight Pass had commented on that as well. And I think with Natalie and Taylor, great representatives of the sport. And I think it bodes really well. Like I just told Nathan, I think we're looking at the long-term growth of the sport. We're placed very well, top to bottom, in all of the weight divisions, the men and the women.
Talk about May 21st coming up. We've said a lot, and we're excited to see much more from Steve Walker. So I think we've covered that fight really well. Another tournament coming up, the super middleweight North American title tournament, and then I think a pretty intriguing women's fight too, with Regan Gowing against newcomer Yasmin Stahani. So just maybe give us a quick thought or two on the upcoming show, Lion Fight 66.
Yeah, Regan Gowing. I mean, Canada has really become an important pipeline for us with good Muay Thai fighters. You look at the Jake Peacock, Regan, Taylor. They're all coming from north of the border. They've all done very well with lion fight, and I think Regan is one of those people. I think it's an interesting fight for her. It's going to be one of those fights where I think both ladies are really going to have to get after it for all 5 rounds. Regan Gowing, I think this is her opportunity to really step up and really prove herself.
All right. And then, so that's coming up all on May 21st, Lion Fight 66 on UFC Fight Pass. And then, some final things to be worked out, but then it's off to Europe. And I know you're excited about that as the sort of the worldwide expansion of Lion Fight really gets going in the second part of 2021.
Yeah, Scott, it's always been our business plan to, if we're not bringing international fighters over, which we've done, we brought the best in the world over from Asia, from Europe, and we've done fights in 7 countries now. Being able to go back to Sicily, go back to Scotland, we're looking, still trying to finalize some dates and some things with Fight Pass, going back to London, and then getting back to the East Coast as well. So it's a nice mix for our international fighters. Some of them we haven't been able to get here because of COVID restrictions. The European options give us a stage here to focus more on our fighters from Europe and Asia, and also obviously it expands our fan base exponentially.
I think we've all pretty excited. I know Nathan recently was talking about Enrico Carrera. We're going to see Enrico Carrera. We're going to see Amy Pierney. We're going to see George Jarvis, Nico Carrillo. I mean, it's a who's list of our top international talent coming up.
Yeah, and being able to take U.S. superstar Chip Pollard. I mean, the guy is a rock star. He's undefeated. Can't wait to get him back in the ring. I know he's anxious as well. So it sets up really nicely with us. It plays into what UFC Fight Pass wants, both in expanding our brand and our relationship with them as well. So we're real excited about that.
And at some point, we'll try and get Nathan home to Australia for a fight.
Can you imagine? That guy's a rock star everywhere we go. Can you imagine going to Australia with us? It's going to be like when the Beatles invaded, right?
That's a dream come true, that trip back to Australia. That's going to be fascinating. It's so good. Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you so much for this. We really appreciate it. Of course, it's Lion Fight 66 coming up on Friday, May 21st on UFC Fight Pass. Nathan, thank you. Scott, of course, thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your getaway in Montana. And for everybody else out there, we will see you soon as we finish off our preparations for Lion Fight 66. We'll see you again soon.